Hey guys, welcome back to Small Trees. Today I'm going to be attaching seedlings to the frame that I made in yesterday's video. If you haven't seen it, I suggest that you click the little bubble in the top right of the screen and check it out. The goal of this project is to create a big, gnarly looking tree within 1 or 2 years that would normally take you 20 or 30 years if you were to do it the traditional way. If you're following along at home, you'll need a few things on hand. I used about 150 seedlings on this project, ranging in size from about 8 inches to about 2.5 feet. You'll also need some wire pliers, zip ties, and a lot of patience. You may be wondering why I'm using zip ties instead of wire, and the answer is pretty simple. Zip ties are a lot thinner, which allows me to attach the seedlings more closely to each other. This will allow for them to fuse more quickly. Additionally, the seedlings will grow over these zip ties and absorb them as they grow, and they will leave less of a scar than wire would. I'll give you a breakdown of how I attach these seedlings and some mistakes that I made that you could probably avoid. In general, it's important to remember that while we are using the frame to build the shape of the tree and we are attaching the seedlings to the frame, we're really attaching the seedlings to each other. In other words, we want to minimize space between seedlings to make the fusion process quicker. For this reason, I attached the seedlings 2 at a time. This made the process slightly quicker, but it still took me about 14 hours to get them all attached. I want the tree to live up to the moniker that I've given it, Cyclone, so I'm attaching the seedlings in a spiral shape going up the frame. I started on one side, and then I decided that it may be easier to have a few different starting points around the base. I now believe this was a mistake because I didn't get the angle right on all of them. They weren't exactly the same, and that left me with several gaps that I had to fill in later. This will show up at the end of the video. You'll see several seedlings that are attached at the bottom portion of the frame, and then they're bent in a different direction to fill a gap higher up on the tree. While it looks messy now, my hope is that both areas will fuse, and then I'll be able to remove the middle area that's sticking out. Before attaching each seedling, I had to determine the best direction for it to face. These seedlings all have the taproot intact, which normally would be something that I would remove. However, in this case, I can snip the very bottom of the root and then angle it so the taproot is growing outwards. This will hopefully result in a really nice nabari. Once I decided the direction I was going to attach each seedling, I removed roots that would be growing towards the inside of the frame, and likewise removed any small branches that would be growing either inwards or to either side. The side branches need to be removed so that we can get the trunks of the seedlings as close together as possible. Like I mentioned earlier, this process took a long time. Make sure to mist the roots frequently to keep them from drying out. If you run out of daylight, like I did, try to place the roots in a tub of water. I really wouldn't recommend doing this for a long time, but it's much easier than burying the roots and then washing them off every time you resume work. I'm doing two pretty big time skips here. If I didn't, this video would be 30 minutes long even with the sped up footage. The process is the same throughout the video, so you really aren't missing much. You can see here that having a hollow frame is a huge advantage. I'm able to twist most of the ties from the inside, which means that there will be less of the zip tie on the outside for the trees to callus over. This is where I ended the second day. At this point, I was running out of memory on my camera, so I skipped recording the final bits. Most of it was just using additional twist ties and wire in some places where I couldn't avoid it to close gaps between seedlings. Until spring is fully here, I'll keep the tree in this pot. It's being kept in a greenhouse with a heated mat underneath it. You can buy heated seedling propagation mats for about $10 on Amazon, and they greatly increase root growth in situations like this. I want these seedlings to wake up and start growing as soon as possible. I also left a hollow in the tree because I thought it would look neat. Let me know if you agree or if you think I should cover it with more seedlings. Part 3 of this series will continue in a month or so when spring is here. In it, I will plant the tree in the ground on top of a board that has the center cut out of it. This will encourage all of these roots to grow laterally, and it will also allow me access to the inside of the tree if I need to thread graft any branches or otherwise fill any holes that don't fuse well. I'll have an update on my Ebihara maple soon, as well as a look at some results of my trees planted through metal tiles. This will be their first root work, and I think the metal tile will speak for itself. Until next time.